ओम अज्ञातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we will do the reading of the Trinad Api Sunichena, followed by Prabhupada Lila Amrita. Krishna is my protector. Sanatan Goswami gave up his ministerial position, pretending to be sick. He took leave and returned to his house. He studied and discussed Bhagavatam in the association of devotees, Vaishnavas. Consequently, Hussain Shah sent his physician, go and examine him and ascertain what illness he has. The royal physician went to Sanatan Goswami house and saw that he was not suffering from any illness. The royal physician reported back to the Nawab. He said, there is no illness. His health is good. He is discussing the Bhagavatam with devotees. Then Hussain Shah himself went and found Sanatan Goswami in good health. The Nawab asked Sanatan Goswami, why did you tell a lie? Why have you taken medical leave when you are not sick? Don't you want to serve? You and your brother Rupa Goswami have given me so much trouble. Your brother left and you are now pretending to be sick. What is your intentions? What do you want? Then Sanatan Goswami said, you are a king, you are a ruler, I am your servant. You can do whatever you like with me. You may inflict on me whatever punishment you think I deserve, but I will never serve you again and I will never go back. Sanatan Goswami knew he would face a severe test, that he would be put into great trouble. Still, he was not afraid because he understood Krishna Vina Raksha Karta Ar Kahe Nahi. Krishna Ye Raksha Ar Palka Amrit Amra. Krishna is my maintainer. Krishna is my protector. No one else is my protector. No one else is my maintainer. He had taken complete shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, and he had firm faith. Thus he told the Shah, you may inflict any punishment you wish on me. Next topic, firm determination is required. As a result, Hussain Shah put Sanatan Goswami in jail. There he thought, how will I get out of this prison? My aim is to take shelter at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and serve him. He faced this obstacle. How could he serve Krishna and Mahaprabhu? That was a hard test. Then Sanatan Goswami received a letter from his younger brother, Rupa Goswami, who had kept 100 gold coins for him. The gold coins were to be used to bribe the jailer, and from there he would escape from the jail and go to Mathura Vrindavan. Whatever is needed to serve the lotus feet of Krishna, we have to do it. This firm determination is required. Even at the cost of my life, I must do it. That is the test. Thus, Sanatana Goswami bribed the god with the gold coins. which was more money than the jailer would ever have earned in his lifetime. The jailer said, "Oh, if Hussein Shah comes to know of this, he will cut off my head and kill my family." Sanatan Goswami told him, "Don't be afraid. Allah, God, will protect you. I helped you so much when I was a minister. Now you please help me. I will go to Makkah. I will become the Daravisha, a fakir, a mullah. Don't be afraid. Allah will protect you." Thus, lured by the reward of many gold coins, the jailer released him. Sanatan Goswami said, "To save yourself, just tell Hussein Shah that I had a bad stomach and went to the bank of Ganges to pass stool, and with my hands and legs shackled, I jumped into the Ganges and drowned." Next topic: pure intelligence comes from Krishna. Mahaprabhu was in Kashi at this time, so disguised as Daravesha, a fakir with a overgrown beard, Sanatan Goswami escaped along the jungle path to Kashi with one servant who was carrying some gold coins. In the evening, they took rest at the forest inn. The innkeeper friend was an astrologer and could, by astrological calculation, understand that Sanatan Goswami's servant was carrying money. He told the innkeeper, and they made a plan to rob and kill their guest. Sanatan Goswami now faced a severe test in such dangerous situation. The innkeeper prepared tasty food and made comfortable sleeping arrangements for Sanatan Goswami and his servant. He said, "You seem to be very tired. Take this food and rest here on this cushioned bed." Sanatan Goswami thought, "Why is this person taking so much care of us? Something is miss here." One who is constantly attached to the lotus feet of Krishna has pure intelligence. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, "To those who are constantly attached to me, engaged in my bhajan, with love preeti, I gave them pure intelligence." Thus, pure intelligence comes from Krishna. Sanatan Goswami had developed love for Krishna and had no separate desire. His only desire was to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and take shelter at his lotus feet. That is pure intelligence. Then he asked his servant, "Have you brought money with you?" The servant said, "Oh yes, I have some gold coins." Sanatan Goswami could immediately understand that it was for this reason that the innkeeper was taking such care of them, and that it was his intention to kill them in the night and take the gold coins. He requested the innkeeper, "This forest path is dangerous, and there are many hills filled with robbers, dacoits. Could you please help us cross the path when it is dark?" The innkeeper said, "Don't worry, you are tired. First take the food and rest a while. I will help you." Now we will start the Prabhupada Leela Amrita. Hawaii, May 6, 1972. During Prabhupada's week-long stay in Honolulu, He installed the five deities of the Panchatattva: Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Sri Gadadhara, and Sri Srivasa. He also lectured on yoga at a local yoga meditation center. During his morning walks on the beach, he spoke about the fallacies of Darwinism. Rocky Beach, he commented, was not as beautiful as Juhu. Nandakumara. At that time, all the devotees in Hawaii were wearing sleeveless t-shirt and bright colors, and they had really big shikhas hanging down very long. Prabhupada said, Gaudiya Vaishnava shikha is an inch and a half across, no bigger. Bigger shikhas means another sampradaya, and they have to be knotted. So I told everyone that they came back all bright and shiny with saffron shirts and proper shikhas. Govinda Dasi, Prabhupada stayed Prabhupada stayed at a big house on the Makupu side of Ohio, right on the ocean, a very pleasant place. In the morning, Prabhupada would walk on the beach, and when he would return from his walk, he would sit down on a wooden bench on a little rock patio. We would all sit around, and he would give a little morning lecture. Later, he would walk around and around in his room chanting. One evening, I went in while he was chanting, and he said, 16 round finished today. And I said, Yes, Srila Prabhupada, I am on my 16th round now. He said, That is good. Prabhupada was also thinking a lot about his Bombay center, and he asked me to do an architecture rendering of his idea for the Bombay buildings. Fortunately, an architect friend drew it up very nicely, and Prabhupada was very pleased with it. Prabhupada had received a letter from a French disciple, Mandakini Devi Dasi, who was going to join a Russian boy in the Soviet Union. She was going there to marry him and assist him in propagating Krishna consciousness. When Prabhupada read this letter, he smiled in ecstasy. The thought of the Krishna conscious movement increasing in Russia gave him great joy. Then he returned to Govinda Dasi and said, Preach while you are young. When you are old, retire to Vrindavan and chant Hare Krishna. Therefore, these centers in India are being built, but you cannot retire unless you have preached sufficiently. The mind will agitate you. If you have preached, you can retire and chant Hare Krishna. So preach as much as possible. Although sometimes Prabhupada could spend only a day or even only a moment with an individual devotee, that brief association would leave a permanent inspiration. The devotee would realize that Prabhupada had touched them and given them guidance in a way that made these the most important moments in their lives. Prabhupada was also beyond the moment and the place that he shared with them and was contemplating deeper issues and praying to Krishna with an intensity that they could not yet understand. Prabhupada received a letter in Hawaii from Giriraj that made him doubt his Bombay manager's ability to deal with the clever Mr. N. Giriraja had reported matter of faculty that he had just paid 7,500 rupees to Mr. N, and Prabhupada wrote back, "Oh, what account is that paid?" Giriraj had intended it to be an installment towards the agreed 2 lakh per year that they were supposed to pay Mr. N after they had received the deed. But why should that he unnecessarily paying Mr. N since they still had no deed? Prabhupada began to worry about his Hare Krishna land. Time and time again his thinking turned to Bombay, Vrindavan, and Mayapur, but he did not talk much about the problems. Rather, the devotees and non-devotees in each place he visited got the full blessing of his attention. When lecturing on Srimad Bhagavatam, he was in full concentration, and when he spoke privately, cultivating a guest or guiding an individual disciple, he fully gave himself. Thus, he took responsibility for many persons and worldwide matters and did it all so graciously, always appearing before his devotees each morning on a walk or in temple as fresh as a morning blooming lotus flower. Was the expert nature of his devotional service to Krishna. He was open and simple, with a motive so pure that anyone could see it, and yet he was also grave beyond anyone's reason. He served Krishna simply in each time and place while riding the hotel elevator with his 2 disciples in Hong Kong, or curiously noting the details of Japanese culture, or walking on the beach beneath a Hawaiian sky. Los Angeles, May 18, 1972. Word has spread that Srila Prabhupada wanted GBC secretaries to go out from behind their desks and preach, and 4 American GBC men eager to become sannyasi and were waiting when Srila Prabhupada arrived in Los Angeles. Satvarupa, Satsvarupa, Prabhupada said that because we were taking sannyas in the prime of youth, we had ample opportunity to do much more than he. He said he had taken sannyasa at the fag end of life, but that a little better than nothing. Everyone laughed at that thought that we could do more than Prabhupada. One by one, we went to Vyasa Asana, and Prabhupada gave us our three dandas and said, "Now preach, preach, preach." Immediately afterward, Prabhupada had us up in his room. We asked him if there were any special instructions. He said there were 2 restrictions in sannyas life. One was that when meeting a rich man and seeing his opulent wealth, we must not think, "Oh, I have given up everything, but I wish I could enjoy these things." And the other restriction was that when we see beautiful women, we must not think, "I had a beautiful wife, and now this beautiful woman is here. I could enjoy her." In other words, we do not have any regrets about having that taken sannyasa. Jagdisha, Prabhupada had all the GBC men come to Los Angeles, where some of them took sannyasa, and we discussed appointing preaching Jones. We had one special meeting with, with Prabhupada. All the GBC men were sitting there in the room, and Prabhupada looked us all over. He said, "Are you convinced?" We just sat there. Nobody said anything for about 2 minutes. It was one of the heaviest moments of my life. Prabhupada challenging us. Are you convinced? Are you sincere? As Prabhupada spoke, his GBC disciples listened intently. As far as I am concerned, he said, I am convinced. Therefore, I am pushing on. It is fact. I'm pushing on because it is fact, not fiction. That much I am personally convinced. Whenever someone says, you believe, I say, no, I do not believe. It is fact. So you must spread your conviction by your literature, arguments, preaching, facing opposing elements. But are you convinced? If you are not convinced, then it is not good for me. The first thing is enthusiasm. Don't be dead. You have to work more than me. Anyone who has life, he can preach. So the local president and treasurer of temple will manage. The GBC can supervise that things are going on. But the first management is that each and every member is chanting 16 rounds and following the regulation. Otherwise, that is our spiritual strength. Now it is in your hand. That was my plan to give it to the Americans, but you have to be spiritually strong. If superficially you want to be managers, it won't be good. And simply touring is not required. But traveling, you have to do something substantial to increase the society. At the time of Lenin, he had just a few men and he took over the entire country. It is up to you to spread God consciousness. Don't be stagnant. Go and preach. Your duty is to inform them. My dear American brothers, you have so much wealth and pleasure. Use it for Krishna. If not, it will be degradation. Srila Prabhupada met with many US ISKCON leaders in Los Angeles and saw the wide array of Krishna conscious activities in his Western World headquarters. He heard new recording of Krishna bhajans performed with guitars and other Western instruments, produced at the devotees' own Golden Avatar studio, and he approved it, saying, "That is better than George Harrison." He visited the art studio where the devotees were painting, illustrating for his books, and he made suggestions. Anjana Manjari, Prabhupada was going around looking at all the different temple offices. In one office, Karandhara was showing Prabhupada a new computer. Prabhupada, he said, all we have to do is type the word Rupa Goswami, and then it will automatically write everything you have ever said or written about Rupa Goswami. Prabhupada had been looking at the computer without showing much interest. But when Karandhara said the name Rupa Goswami, Prabhupada raised his eyebrow and said, "Oh, yes, everything can be used in Krishna service." Then we walked out of that office and went to Tilak's machine. Prabhupada sat before it in the chair, and everyone stood around him while Grandhara explained what the machine did. It can write a message all the way to New York, and they can send a message back immediately. Srila Prabhupada, so Grandhara typed on the telex machine, Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please respond. There was no answer, so he typed it out again and again. There was no answer. So he typed it out again, and this time he typed out all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is sitting right next to the telex machine. Please respond. All of a sudden, the machine started typing out a reply, and Prabhupada was sitting there watching it. The type read, Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept our humble obeisance at your lotus feet. We will be very eager to see your divine grace in 3 days in New York. Srila Prabhupada spoke out, Jaya, Haribol. The message from New York was signed by many devotees, and Prabhupada just smiled and said, this is very nice. At this time, distribution of Prabhupada books by his disciple was taking on a new dimension in America, and Prabhupada heard the latest reports from beginning of his preaching in the West, and he has stressed printing and his distributing his books as the most important method of preaching Krishna consciousness. He said his spiritual master has told him to print out and distribute books, and thus he was following blindly. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had been pleased if a disciple distributed even only a few copies of his magazine. In the beginning years of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada had also been pleased when his disciples had distributed few hundred copies of Back to Godhead each month. Gradually, his will for increasing the distribution of transcendental literature had manifested through certain devotees. In Los Angeles in 1964, Tamil Krishna had daily taken a large kirtan party downtown. The party, in addition to chanting and dancing, had circulated among the crowd and distributed Back to Godhead magazine, as many as 100 in single day. When Prabhupada had heard these reports, he had felt encouraged and had asked for the devotees to increase. Okay, I think we can stop over here. It's already 6:15. Thank you very much, devotees, for attending this. Hare Krishna. We will leave this bridge open, uh, but uh, thank you very much. And we will see you tomorrow again in the morning. Hare Krishna.